y'all, it's Krystal and Roscoe. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you're notified the next time I post a video. We thank you. That's really sour. Hey y'all, welcome to Back to Basics with Krystal. You probably guessed it. Today's episode is all about pickles. Pickles, 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 pickles. Okay, did you know that pickles date back to something like 2035 BC? They're referenced in the Bible, and it's rumored that they were part of Cleopatra's beauty regimen. That was cheesy. Okay, anyway, the pickles of that time were a little bit different than the regular pickles you see today. Those pickles were most likely lacto-fermented. This video is about vinegar pickles. Now later on in the summer, after we've already made plenty of jars of pickles to sell at the market, I've got customers lined up. Locally, I'm known as the pickle lady, what can I say? So I promised my son that later this summer, we will do lacto-fermented pickles. He absolutely loves them, loves them, loves them. So we'll do an episode on that, basically because he wants some. Now, if you're new to canning and you're not really too sure about the whole pickle making process, I would suggest buying a pre-mixed seasoning package. Mrs. Wags makes one. Say that 10 times fast. That was actually what I used for the very first batch of pickles that I ever made. Now, those pickles turned out phenomenal. We enjoyed them. They were so good. But they're very commercial tasting. They taste like pickles that you buy at the grocery store, which there's nothing wrong with that. What makes pickles unique is the pickling spice that you use. And I will tell you that Ball makes a really good pickling spice. You can buy it in the canning section. It comes in a little jar like this. It makes a very small batch. And you could try that out. Now, normal pickling spice, let me just give you the ingredients. What you're gonna need for pickling spice is cinnamon, bay leaves, mustard seeds, allspice, coriander, black peppercorns, brown ginger, dill seeds, cardamom seeds, hot pepper flakes, and whole cloves. That is your basic pickling spice. Now, the best part about making your own pickling spice, your own stuff, is that you actually can take the recipe and tweak it. If you're not a fan of coriander, you can leave that out. If you want a little bit more of a cinnamon kick, you can add some more cinnamon in. There's cinnamons from different parts of the world that you can use. I mean, the combinations are really endless, and you can really make those pickles per your taste buds. So I've been working on my own recipe, playing and tweaking the spices, a little bit of this, a little less of this, you know, until I got exactly the spice that I want. So I definitely encourage you to, if you don't have it already, get the Ball canning. This is the yellow one. And in here it has the recipe for the pickling spice. Get this, take a look at it, and then you can use the recipe, and then you can kind of tweak it to be your own. Now that you have your pickling spice, the next thing you need is really good quality pickling cucumbers. For pickles that you're going to can, you absolutely do not want to use a slicing cucumber. They just won't hold up to the canning process. However, if you are going to do a refrigerator pickle, by all means, you can use a slicing cucumber. And you know what? Growing up, my family really didn't can pickles. My mom did it once, and my grandmother did it once or twice because I have always loved pickles. So it wasn't uncommon to run out to the garden, grab a burpless cucumber. My mom grew wonderful cucumbers every year. Grab a cucumber to slice it up, little salt, little pepper, vinegar, water into the refrigerator for the day and have it that night at dinner. Nothing uncommon about that. Sometimes we would add onions to it, sometimes maybe a little garlic. It was whoever was slicing up the cucumbers that day, it was me a lot, got to choose what they put in it. So there's a couple of different varieties of pickling cucumbers. I have grown Chicago and Boston pickling cucumbers. Both of those are really great cucumbers to grow. I got really great pickles out of it. This year, you probably saw in a previous video that I am exclusively growing the National Pickling Cucumber. And I did in that video, and I'll link it above. I told you why I really preferred it. Now also, last year I did grow a gherkin-style cucumber, and I'm so mad at myself that I didn't grow it this year. Okay, so here's the tip. If you don't have enough cucumbers to run a decent-sized batch of pickles, my suggestion to you is to bring them in, wash up your cucumbers. Do not do any cutting or anything like that. Don't cut this off. Leave the little stem. Wash them, dry them very well, put them in a Ziploc bag, and stick it in the vegetable crisper. They'll stay very, very crisp and fresh for about a week. I've done that many times over without an issue. Now, your cucumbers that you use, you want to make sure that you're not using a damaged cucumber. You want to make sure that it's very crisp, it's very firm, it has no mushy spots in it. Remember, freshest is the best. If you use an inferior cucumber, you're definitely going to taste it later on. The pickling process is not going to be kind, and your family will definitely know that you used an inferior product. So freshest is best. Let's talk about the brine for our pickles. Now I know a lot of recipes out there call for regular white vinegar and sugar. I don't use that in my recipe. I preferred the taste to an apple cider vinegar, 5% apple cider vinegar in my pickling brine. I try to stay away from sugar as much as possible, and the reason why in those recipes with the white vinegar you add sugar, it's to cut the bite down from the vinegar. So my recipe, here it is in my glorious handwriting. So what you're going to need is for a small batch, you'll need 2 cups of apple cider vinegar and 2 cups of water. To that, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of salt. Now, I personally use a pink Himalayan sea salt. You can use any salt you want, just do not use an iodized salt. It will affect the quality of your pickles. So, use a sea salt or a pickling salt. Then, we have 3 tablespoons of pickling spice. So what you want to do is you want to put everything into a pot. Your 2 cups of apple cider vinegar, your 2 cups of water, your 3 tablespoons of salt, and 3 tablespoons of pickling spice. Put that all into a pot. Bring that just up to a boil. Turn the heat completely off. Put a lid on it and let that steep for a minimum of 2 hours. If you can allow it to steep longer, then it's absolutely going to be the best. The longer it steeps, the better your brine will be. Now that your brine's ready to go, your jars are washed, the first thing you're going to do is slice off all of the bloom ends from the cucumber. This is going to help the cucumber stay crisp during the pickling process. So you're going to slice off just a teeny tiny bit of the bloom end. Now to each jar, my trick is to add pickle crisp to each jar. And a jar of pickle crisp goes a very long way. A quart jar, you're going to add a rounded 1/4 tablespoon of pickle crisp. And I just throw that in the bottom of the jar. Now this is where you can really have fun with your pickles and you can make them uniquely you. I'm adding in about a 1/4 teaspoon of dill weed, dried dill weed. You can add crushed red peppers. You can add sliced up onions. You can add garlic. I mean, the combinations are endless. Have fun with it and make it you. If you enjoy pickled garlic, add a few cloves in. If you enjoy pickled onions, add that in. Have fun with it. These pickles, I'm going to keep it very simple. I'm adding dill, I'm adding Thai chili peppers, and I'm adding garlic. So you can keep it as simple as you want or as complex as you want. Remember, this is all about you and your taste. So we're going to pack all of the jars. We're going to make sure that the jars are packed kind of tight, but you don't want to bruise your cucumbers in the process. Once we have the jars packed nice and tight, we're actually going to put our brine in. Now I am going to strain out all of my pickling spice. You can add a little bit of pickling spice to the jar if you want. I've done that. I prefer to keep my jars a little cleaner without all of the spices in. My husband actually likes to see all the spices, but I'm going to confess to you guys right now. The spices get in my way when I want to drink the pickle juice. Yeah, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. My secret is out. I drink pickle juice. And I have since I was a little kid. You're going to fill the jar to a 1/4 inch headspace. You want to burp all of your jars. Make sure you don't have any air pockets or anything in there. If you find that after burping your jars you need to add a little bit more brine in, then do so. Clean off the rims of all of our jars. We want to make sure that nothing is going to get in the way of the seal. Put the lid on, put the ring on, hand tighten, and put it into the canner. Now we're going to process these jars for 10 minutes, these quart jars for 10 minutes. And you want to start your timer after the pot comes up to a nice rolling boil. The jars will cool the pot down, so you want to make sure that it comes back up to a nice rolling boil, and then we'll start the timer for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, we remove the jars, and the jars are still processing, okay? They're still boiling inside. So make sure you're not moving them around, you're not knocking into them, because you can actually very, very easily break that jar. So we're going to let the jars cool down, and after 24 hours, we remove the rings and label the tops and put them away. And it's really that simple. Making pickles is really that simple. Now the pickles will be great a couple of days after you can them. However, you really and truly, trust me, you want to wait at least a month to 6 weeks before you crack that first seal. I know sometimes it's hard to do. And if you have people in your house that are a little impatient, maybe put away some refrigerator pickles for them. But you really want to leave the pickles in the jar, stored away for at least 4 weeks. But in my house, I tell everybody 6 weeks. So after 6 weeks, you can open the jar and enjoy. Now, the longer your pickles sit, the better they will absolutely be. This jar was done last year. Almost a year. Actually, tomorrow will be a year. So these are a year old, and they're absolutely delicious. So that is it of today's video. I hope that this video today really does encourage you to make your own pickles and make them uniquely you. They really are very, very easy to make. You don't need any special equipment to can them. It's simply a water bath process. So go out, make your own pickles, and if you do, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. And if you haven't done so already, please give me a big old thumbs up for this video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And until we talk again, y'all be blessed. Bye now. All the attention's on you now. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Yeah. I could just sit here and pet you all day and just watch you shed all over the place. Yeah. Hi. Oh, sweet boy.